Hello, happy Thursday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm glad today's video is happening today and it wasn't happening yesterday. Yesterday was such a horrible day. I don't know. Did you ever have one of those days where you just didn't feel like doing anything and you just were down in the dumps and you just don't know why? That's what I was yesterday. So today we are playing with the berry harvest, and this is a background stamp. And I am also playing with the Irresistible blooms. So we're creating this card and this little gift box. It's boho blue and basic white and pool party, believe it or not. So those are the three colors I have used: boho blue, pool party, a touch of pretty peacock, and that's in the leaf on this piece. Hello, hello. And boho blue, pool party, and basic white. So just before we get started, in the new mini catalog, there is a new stencil called Abundant Beauty, and they call them decorative masks. And there is some pretty fall leaves and snowflakes. And this, if you saw my, let's get a piece of paper so you can see, video with the designer series paper, this design is actually on the Halloween. Hey, Do. Your keyboard isn't working. This is the design on some of the Halloween designer series paper. And then there is also a mask for a sunflower. And then here's the leaves. And then the centerpiece. I actually just cleaned them because I was playing with them today. And I want to show you what they look like. So this is how the stencil actually works. Hey, Kathy. Yes, today was much better than yesterday, for sure. So that's what it looks like stenciled. And then I decided to play and do something different. So I did it in white and then used my paint pen to decorate the sunflower, just to give it a different look. Pretty cool, huh? It's really fun. And then the other thing I was working on today were apples for my Patreon group. These are the apples we colored in our Patreon group, and then we're going to create cards using these images. So that's what I did today, along with tonight's projects. Hey, Mimi Cakes. Hey, Karen. Yeah, you'll get them, Do. Just give me some time. All right, so we have this card here. It says, I like you. And then here's the Irresistible blooms in the center. And then our gift box. Now, I did prepare a lot of what we're going to be using tonight. But we're going to start off, I'm going to create the card. But I'm going to start off with the small piece on the top of our box, because this way you'll see exactly how I made the front of this card, only because I created a second one. This took a long time to do, and it won't take me as long on the smaller piece, so I don't have you waiting all night for me to get finished. So don't mind my messy sheet. I have the Berry Harvest stamps on my Stamparatus, which I'm very upset is gone. And I have a small piece of basic white that measures 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And like I said, this is for the box. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of adhesive down just so I can hold this piece in place. Let's get rid of this magnet. All right. So all I'm going to do, this is, everybody knows how to do it, but I wanted to do it start to finish. We're just going to add some Versamark, and I want to make sure that I have it coated really well. Okay. Yeah, the stamp is pretty neat. I would run out of things to do with it though. This is pretty neat what I'm doing with it tonight. So we're just going to stamp it with the Versamark. Let's see what I did with my, here it is. Okay. And it actually looks pretty good. I'm going to find a place that I can hold it. So I just want to pull it up. Just see where I can hold it. And we'll get rid of that. And so I stamped it with Versamark. And I see a little spot on it. There we go. And I am going to emboss it with white. All right. So let's get some embossing powder on here. I want to make sure it's all covered and it has a nice image on the front. Just move, oops, just move it over here. Get that corner. All right. So now that it has the white embossing powder on it, you can see I am going to just, gorgeous. It's pretty warm here today. I'm just going to heat this up. And you want to make sure, hopefully you can hear me, that it is embossed really well. Let's just get this embossed. All right. Now you want to make sure it's all nice and shiny. That's what I'm doing. And one thing with your white embossing powder, you don't want to overheat it because it will burn. Okay. But you want to make sure that it's embossed. Let me just get some of this dust off here. All right. So now we have our piece. And you can see that it's embossed. Okay. Thank you for sharing. So really easy. Now the way I colored the front of this card and now this piece, I'm going to use light Pretty Peacock, light and dark Pool Party to start. And I'm just going to find the leaves. And with the Pretty Peacock, you'll notice that, and it's hard to see, but see the leaves? I went down that center vein with the the light Pretty Peacock. So I'm just going to start here. And if you've ever heard anyone say that using your blends on embossing gold or the metallics, it ruins the embossing. It just takes the color away. It does not do that to the white. So I'm just going to add some shadow here because it's a leaf on top of a leaf. And all I'm doing, like I said, is scribbling a line. And I just want to make sure I get all these leaves. I'm scribbling down the center line on the leaves. Now this one is on the edge, and this one is right here. And like I said, it is a little hard to see, so that's why I'm doing the dark first. So I'm just going to go around that leaf there and up that vein. Here's a center vein here. And all I'm doing is scribbling. And I just want to make sure. Now here's some berries. So I'm just going to go around these berries and know that coloring on here like this is very forgiving. So if you feel like you've made a mistake, nobody's going to know. So it's very forgiving. And I think, oh, here's a little one here. So I think I got them all. So those are all the veins. Yes, Karen, I know. All right. Good question, dude. They're not, when you color with them, they're not. So that's all that matters. All right, so now I'm going to use the dark pool party, and we have our pretty peacock. We're just going to take the dark pool party, and we are going to go over top of the pretty peacock, and we are going to extend it out past. All right, so we're just blending this, going over the pool party and extending it out. And we're doing it on every leaf that we just did. So like I said, so like I was saying, when you color, it does not ruin the white embossing. The only thing I will say is if you use the brush side of the marker, like I'm going to do now with the light pool party, it does pull apart the tip just a little bit. Hi, Roberta. Because although the embossing is smooth, it's not as smooth as your paper. All right, so now with the light pool party, we're going to color in all these leaves completely. And like I said, it's the same thing I did for the front of the card. I just figured it would be easier and quicker to show you on this small piece. So we're just going around, and I am going over what I colored already just a little, but I'm just filling in the rest of the leaf. And like I said, if you go outside of the embossing, you really don't have to worry too much because it is very forgiving. All right, let's see. Let's head over here. So just very quick And let's do over here. This leaf is off the edge. And then we have this leaf here. All right. Oh, we forgot this one here. All right, so you can see now that oops, let me get this one to the edge. All our leaves are colored. Now, if you're looking really close, you'll see, let's see if I can get it at the right angle. You'll see some stems in between that I left alone. Now for those berries, I'm grabbing light boho blue and dark boho blue. All right. And I'm going to take the light boho blue and now I'm going to color in the berries. And all I'm going to do is find where those berries are and just color right over, embossing and everything. Because like I said, the blends will not harm the white embossing. I don't know if you've ever colored with blends on silver or gold, but it does take the shine away on the silver and gold embossing. So you're better off watercoloring on those two, but the white, it does not hurt. All right, so I'm just going around the whole image looking for my berries. And the light boho blue right now looks dark because it's still wet. It's going to take a few minutes to dry. So we're just coloring in all these berries. I just want to make sure I'm hitting them all. And I'm not being fussy, as you can see, because like I said, it's very forgiving. All right, so I think I got all the berries. Yep, looks like I did. And that's the light boho blue. Then, hey, and then I am taking the dark boho blue and I am just going to hit it with a few dots randomly, just so there is a couple dark berries within these light berries. All right, just makes them have a little bit of character. All right, so now that that's done, that is exactly how I did the front of our card. Okay, so let's start with our card. Just going to grab my basic white, and it is 11 by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2. All right, basic card base, and I'm actually going to do it landscape. Then I grabbed a piece of, just make sure I have the right one, Pool Party, and this should be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and it is, and that's the top. And then I have a piece of boho blue, which is 5 1/4 by 4. So we're just going to layer these together. Let me just grab my glue. Hopefully this is a good one. So we're just going to layer these down. So the boho is our berries, and the Pool Party was our leaves. And then we're just going to adhere this right to the front of the card. Easy peasy. All right. Now we're going to take that layer that I already did ahead of time, same way I did this, just a smaller piece, and we're just going to adhere this to the front of the card. Normally, I would not use liquid glue on a basic white layer, but where it's embossed, you will not see the glue through this layer. All right, so there is the front of our card. Now, for the flowers, I'm going to just show you real quick. I'm going to grab a piece of scrap here, because again, everybody knows how to emboss, but I use the Irresistible blooms, okay? And I'm going to stamp this in black right now, because I did create all my flowers. So I'm just going to stamp it in black so I can show you how I colored these, and then I'll show you the flowers themselves. All right, so I embossed the flowers again in white on basic white. Okay, then what I did was I took some light Pretty Peacock and added it to the center. Then I took, let me get the right one, light Native Navy, and I went around that center. Then I took dark boho blue and went around again. And then I took light boho blue and colored it in the rest of the way. And I'm going over the edges of each color in the center just so it blends out a little bit, okay? And again, I embossed it in white. And then once it's dry, you can see the circles inside? I did them really quick so you could see those circles on the inside. And what I'm going to do is I need the 2 and 2 more. All right. So I have 4 of the medium flowers. And what I'm going to do is on 2 of the flowers, let's just get some of this stuff out of the way. I'm going to turn them over. I'm going to use the back of my pick tool. All right. So you can use anything that's rounded. And I'm just going to push down on these flowers right along the edges so it gives it a little bit of dimension. We're going to lose it when we turn it over, but it's not going to lay as flat as it would if we didn't do it. All right. So now I'm going to turn it over and you can see it's not flat anymore. We're just going to poke it down in the middle. All right. So now we have a flower of sorts. All right. So let's put that aside. Now I'm going to take the second layer and I'm going to grab my scissors. And all I want is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals in the center. So I am going to cut out these outside petals. Now, here's a petal, but I'm going to come all the way down, and then I'm going to come back up. And we want this petal, and we want this petal. And we want this petal. And we want this one. All right, so we just took off the outside, whoops, the outside. Let me just pick that up before it disappears. We just want the inside flowers. So let's just do it on this one. We want to give these flowers a little bit of dimension. That's why I'm cutting out these pieces. So just quick fussy cut them out. And we can make our flower look like it has a little bit of dimension. All right, so now here's the insides of our flowers. We're going to take our mat back, and this time we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to each individual petal, and we're just going to push down and give it a nice, give it a little bit of dimension. I'm doing each petal and then coming out and bringing it back. All right, so now you can see it's a little bit of a bowl. So we're just going to turn it over. And again, we're going to push it down in the middle. Okay. So let's bring our flowers back in. I'm going to put some glue in the center of these flowers. And while that's setting, I am going to grab some gems because I want to be able to push them down. And these are the in color gems. And I want these medium ones. So you can see when I push down on them, it seems to flatten the flowers out. So you can just pull them back up, give them a little shape. But it's easier to add your gems now. Okay. And then you want to look at that bottom flower and you want to flip it so it's not lined up with that center flower on the bigger one, okay? Just so it looks like it has a little bit more dimension. I just want to push that gem down. It doesn't want to stick. There we go. And then we're going to do the same on the other flower. Stinker. We know that the glue takes a little bit extra time to dry. So let's give that some time. The next thing I did, let me just make sure I have everything here. Should be one more little flower. Where'd you go? I should have one more little flower. Oh, here it is. All right. So these little flowers are actually from the apple harvest. Oh, it arrived. Yay. This is little flower from the apple harvest. And I did the same thing. I embossed it with white and colored it with dark and light boho blue. And the leaves are from the Irresistible blooms. And they also are embossed. I don't know if you can tell. You can see the veins. And I colored it in the pool party. All right. Dark here and then light for the rest. And I did that on both leaves. So for these little guys, we want to give them a little bit of dimension. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to push down on the back and round it up. Just like that. Turn them over and push them down in the middle. All right, so there's our smaller flowers. In the center of these flowers, I decided to use the adhesive back solid gems. And this looks like boho blue. So we're going to put these in the middle of these flowers. Hopefully they're going to stick. I'm just going to push them down a little bit. Now that it flattened out, I can actually put it back in my hand. Just like that. All right. Now we can, oops, that little stinker. I should have used a glue dot. It should be sticking now. That glue should be dry pretty good now. All right, so let's move these out of the way. Pull in our card. And all we're going to do is glue these flowers down. So I'm going to put some glue in the center and lay it down. Same thing on this, glue in the center. And we're going to tuck it right like that. We have our 3 little flowers. I'm actually going to add some glue and place 1 flower on that dab of glue. And it's going to take a minute for it to dry, so I'm going to be very gentle. And then I'm going to grab some dimensionals to add the other 2 flowers. So I'm going to put 1 dimensional there. Let me get the paper off here. I'm glad you got the catalog. I didn't think it would get there actually until about the first week of September, because you can't order until the 6th. And I thought it would be delayed a little. I'm glad it got there because I ordered them a long time ago. All right. So now we're going to, I'm just going to pull that up. We're going to put 1 right there. That glue just does not want to dry. And I'm going to take the other one and I'm going to put it right there. All right, so there are our flowers arranged on the front of our card. We're going to grab some pool party, sheer pool party, and we're going to tie a bow. Ooh, it's getting warm in here tonight. We've had so much rain, and it's been so muggy, and it's cool in the early morning. When I took Sheeb out this morning at, I guess it was 6:30, it was so nice, and it's stuck on my finger. It was so nice and cool. I actually could have had a sweatshirt on. And then by the afternoon, it gets so muggy and wicked hot. All right, so let's cut these tails. I'm going to grab a glue dot. We're we're getting to the end here of our glue dots. And we're going to add this bow right about there. All right. So we've got our bow. You can't forget our leaves. So we're just going to grab our leaves. I'm just going to add a bit of glue. And we're just going to tuck it under. And we're going to take this one here. And I'm actually going to pop this up on a dimensional. And I'm just going to use one. We're just going to pop it up right there at the bottom. All right, so we have our leaves. We have our flowers. Next, we need our sentiment. And let me just grab a piece of basic white. And I need to grab a piece of boho blue. I thought I had grabbed it and I forgot. Okay, where did you go? All right, let's do that again. All right. So I just grabbed a little piece of boho and basic white, and I'm going to grab the stamp I Like You. And we're going to use some boho ink. And we're going to stamp our sentiment. I think I just put my finger in the ink. I'm just going to try to get this on here straight. Not bad. I did. Look at that. All right. So I am just going to, and I'm going to get rid of that ink pad for 1 minute. I'm just going to get rid of that little piece of end. So I cut the end off. And then I'm going to just grab my little banner punch and I'm going to feed it through, if I can get it fed through. I'll do it this way. There we go. I'm just feeding it through and I want to center it and cut a banner. And then I'm just going to do the same thing to the boho. All right, just cut a little banner. Oops. I'm just going to add a bit of glue. And I am just going to add this so there's a bit of color along the bottom. I'm going to feed this out a little bit. And then I have a little bit of tail at the end, okay? I'm just going to put a dimensional on one end and a bit of glue on the other. So I'm just going to send this right under that flower. And then push it down. All right. So there is the front of our card. Now for the inside, excuse me, I have some pool party. This should be 5 1/4 by 4. And it is. And then I have 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So we're going to grab that small little flower again. And I'm just going to get my scrubber and quick scrub this since I used the Memento. Because you'll see I put boho blue for the flower. All right. So let's get some boho blue. Gonna ink it up. This time I'm going to turn it so the flower is this way. All right, so there's our flower. Let's grab some pool party and our leaves. And I'm actually going to just put one here. And then we'll grab the other one and put it right there. Oops, I rocked. I don't know where my eraser is. Here it is. Let's see if we can get some of this off. I rocked my stamp. And it won't. All right, so we're going to grab our seal. Actually, the seal has been working quite nicely lately. And we're going to lay this down. Thank you. I didn't see Margaret's name today. She must be partying for her birthday. Well, I hope she's having a great time. That's what counts. Margaret used to be on my team. Because she's a great customer. All right, so there is the front of our card. All right, so just lots of coloring, embossing. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much. And like I said, very forgiving. And it just looks like, when you look at it, it looks like you created a masterpiece. So let's do the same thing, but create a box, okay? Dang, I dropped something else. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. All right, let me just pick it up. Give me a second. All right. I try to keep everything nice and contained so I don't lose anything. So our box is going to be basic white and boho blue, okay? We have a little square that's 3 by 3, and the one that we embossed and colored is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. So these are actually, let's do it now so it has a few minutes to dry. So we're just going to adhere this right to this layer, just like that. Okay, so there is that piece. The bottom of the box is very simple. Let's get the ruler. I will have a PDF tomorrow. This is 5 1/8 by 5 1/8, and I scored it at 1 inch on every side. Okay, so 5 1/8 by 5 1/8, and it's scored at 1 inch along every side. So you're just going to fold and burnish, and then we're going to create our tabs. Now I like to cut the score line out, and then we're going to angle each piece. Now I like to, now that I have a tab here, I like to turn it and then do my tab here. So the top of the box fits nicely, and it's even thickness all the way around the box. So I just go from one side to the next. I cut to the right of that score line so I can cut that bump out, and then I angle cut the tab, and then we're just going to go to the next side and angle cut our tabs. So you can see I have a tab on each side. Okay. And to make this go easier, we're going to use some seal. And this is the Seal Plus. So it's a little heavier. And it works perfect for our 3D items. It's a nice stick. And you want to just make sure that one is pretty close to your score line. And then the other one is just to hold it in place. But when you put your sides up, you want that to line up right at your corner. Okay? And you want to do that on every side. You want to make sure that it is nice and straight with that corner. And then one more. All right, so now we have a nice square box. Okay? Now we have our basic white top. This one is actually 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and each side is scored at 1/2 inch and then 1 inch. Hi, Carol. Aw, that's okay. This was fun, though. We did some coloring and embossing. All right, so like I said, a 1/2 inch and 1 inch on each side. So let's fold a piece of paper and burnish each of our score lines. And one more. All right, so now we have our square. We're going to grab our scissors again. And these 3 outside squares, can you see? 1, 2, 3. We are going to cut them out. I'm just going to angle that a little bit. We're cutting out these 3 outside squares. Let's get rid of these pieces. Okay, so you can see I just cut out the squares on the outside. Now we have to create our tab. So we're going to cut down, and we do want to angle these a little bit. This piece, you want to just angle it a tiny little bit. Then we're going to head over to this side. This is the only time I keep my tabs all in the same direction. Or what I should say, not all in the same direction. What I do to this side, I do to this side. So we're going to create our tab and then just angle these pieces. All right. So now we have our tabs here. We're going to come over here, cut out these 2. I'm just going to angle that slightly. And then we're going to angle it slightly and cut out this box. And I'm going to put my tab on the same side. So we're just going to angle that out. And then we're going to head over here, angle this a little bit, cut out these 2, angle that a little bit, cut off that last one. Here's our tab here. So we want to come up this way and then just angle. All right. So now we have all our tabs. And let's actually see if I don't think I have any more tearing tape. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Yes, I do. All right, we have to open a new one. All right, so the easiest way to do this is these outside pieces or outside rectangles. You want to grab your tear and tape. You can use glue. The tear and tape is a little bit quicker. I'm just trying to find I like to use those as my cutter. And I'm going to put it right at the edge. The caps to, oh, I didn't angle this one. The caps to our glue are perfect little cutters because it's got a nice straight edge and it holds it down so we don't have to pick up those bulky scissors. All right. Did I angle that one? Yeah. All right. So we just put tear and tape on all those outside rectangles. Just makes it easier. So when we're folding the box, it's already there. Yeah, actually it does, huh? All right, so now we're going to turn it back over and we are going to add the Seal Plus to these little tabs. Let me just get these papers out of here. So I'm just going to add some Seal Plus to these little tabs. Okay. And these tabs are going to get folded in, and the same thing. You want to make sure those corners are straight and it's even. And you're going to go all the way around. Whoops. All right. So here's your box. Now we still have these flaps. So now we want to, let's get this paper off. Okay. Now you're going to fold these in. And I like to use my bone folder to make sure they're down really well. This hides those little tabs. It makes a nice double-walled top, so it's nice and sturdy. Nice finished edge for the top of your box. And then one more. So you just take off that paper, fold it in, and again, I like to use my bone folder to make sure it's nice. And then it fits our box nicely. Okay? Thanks, Stu. Then we're going to take this little piece. I'm going to add some dimensionals. I hear somebody outside talking. Oh, it's a dog barking. All right, so we're just going to line this up on the top of our box. Let's try and make sure it's on here even. Just like that. All right. And then we have some more flowers. Let me just grab them. I made so many just in case. I made big ones. I made small ones. Here's a little. There's another little one. All right. And then our leaf. So again, they are embossed. And they're colored with Night of Navy, Pretty Peacock, and light and dark boho blue. And we're going to do the same thing with our flowers, but let's just cut this out first. So I'm cutting those outside flower petals off. All right, we're just going to go around and we're going to cut out I just want to remind everybody, I did create the video for my paper share. I don't know if I think it's on YouTube. I'm just trying to think if I added it to my blog or not. But I did post it in the group. All right, so we have our flowers. We're just going to pull our pierce mat back in, turn over our flowers. I'm grabbing my little pick. You can use anything that is rounded. And we're just going to round these flowers to give them some dimension. Okay, and this is that centerpiece. And we're just going to come out on every petal, give it some dimension, and then we can turn them all over and poke them down. Whoops. And that one. All right, so they have some dimension. Let's use some glue dots this time. See if that will work any better. It'll hold it in place better, at least. I'm just laying those down. Oh, much better. All right, so let's get our gems. I'm using the adhesive backed solid gems. I don't want the flower to get too smushed. And then these are the in color gems. I'm going to stick that right in the center. Push it down. All right. Let's grab our box. Let's get rid of our flowers. And let's see. We'll put the flower on this corner. Just going to grab our flower and add some glue. And like I said, it's going to take the glue a little longer to dry. And then we're just going to add a couple dots of glue. I'm going to get these up here. And just get them down in that glue. Hopefully it catches. Let's just check. Nope. Let's get some glue on here so we're sure that it sticks. There we go. All right, so we got our little flowers. We're going to grab our leaf. Let's put it over here. And one more bow. We're just going to get our length of ribbon, wrap it around. This goes between your fingers, back through your fingers, and then right around that loop you just created. Okay. You want that knot to be nice and tight in the center. So you'll get nice puffy loops. Cut our tails. Let's grab a glue dot. And this time let's see, can we move this? We'll put our bow right about here. All right. So here's our little box. And we have our matching card. So I hope you liked tonight's projects. They were so fun to do. Hey, Trisha. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. So if you'd like these make and takes, just spend $30. And I didn't even put my host code up. $30 in my online store using that host code. And I will send you these make and takes in the mail. You are so welcome, everybody. Today is Friday, a Thursday. I'll have these posted tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10. I guess it's 10 for our Fun Fold Friday. So enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.